It's time for City Beat, your source for all the latest news on the city of Thompson. Only on 102.9 CHTM, your radio station.
Good morning and welcome to City Beat here on 102.9 CHTM. My name is Stuart Walter and my guest this morning is Mayor Dennis Fenske.
Good morning.
Let's start off by talking about what we didn't get to last week with regards to the last regular meeting of City Council, and that's the waiving of the fees for the Thompson Trailbreakers, the Heritage North Museum, and the Thompson Wildlife Association. Why is it important to waive fees for organizations like these?
Well, all three of these organizations are community-driven. They have a purpose in our community to enhance the quality of life, and so they do really good work. I'll preface that with that's what they do, and it's volunteer-based, and they do excellent work in our community. But we're putting that up against the waiving of fees for the City of Thompson, which is revenue to the City of Thompson. And so the discussion that followed in regards to do we continue, do we reduce the amount we waive, it's a valid question, it's a valid concern, and it's a valid discussion point. So we, at the next budget meeting, as we go through the budget process, we'll certainly look at all of the fees that we waive, whether it be these are lease fees, or whether it's half price or nonprofit fees of rental of facilities, depending on the organization and the event. But we are going into tight economic times, and we'll have to look at every avenue in regards to reducing costs and increasing revenues.
That leads right into the next thing. The budget consultation happened last Thursday at the TRCC. How did the meeting go?
Well, actually, I was happy with the turnout. We had 18 people plus councillors and staff. It was held at the TRCC at the multipurpose room. And we went over the 2017 budget presentation that we did last year once the budget was in, just to explain the different categories where costs and revenues come in and go out. And so following that, we had some discussions. There were some good suggestions in regards to, and some that we were already looking at. We own a lot of equipment in regards to graders, loaders, trucks, and so on. And so the question was asked whether we should be buying or leasing equipment. And that's certainly been identified as a potential to look at in the budget process. And as we look at individual pieces of equipment, the question will be asked, is it in our best interest to lease the piece of equipment, or is it in our best interest to own it? And so that evaluation will have to take place. And in some cases, we may look at leasing being the most cost-effective way of reducing costs for the City of Thompson.
And you also now have the budget survey live on the city website.
Correct. So there's hard copy and electronic copy, as you mentioned, on thompson.ca. Right in the center of the page, it's 2018 budget survey. We'd ask you to go through that. And it's weighing the different services that are provided by the City of Thompson from a least important to most important and everything in between. We had around 154 responses last year. We'd like to see 500 at least this year to see a better representation of the community. And so I would encourage you to either pick up a hard copy at City Hall or the TRCC and return it to either the TRCC information desk or City Hall, or you can go online at thompson.ca and submit, and at the end of it, there'll be a little password to enter, so make sure that nobody's a robot, and then hit send, and you're good to go. So we'd like to encourage people to express their thoughts on the services, so we can use that data as we go through the budget deliberations.
When is the deadline to have that survey complete?
I believe it's in mid-January.
So still lots of time for everyone to go out there and get it done.
Yes, absolutely.
This coming Monday is the last regular meeting for City Council in 2017. What can the public expect?
Well, there's day-to-day stuff for instance, the check registers. I believe the tax abatement bylaw is on to review. This is the initiative that we've brought forward for as part of Thompson 2020 in the City of Thompson to grow business in our community, either existing businesses or new businesses, and by providing a tax abatement on property taxes for over 5 years at different percentages depending on the amount of investment. So we hope to get that through before year end, and so that we can be ready for the construction season of 2018.
So moving on, there's some good news coming out. The Thompson Recycling Center is set to pass their record this week for the year for the amount of recycled material processed. And the current record, which was set in 2014, is at 1.03 million kilograms. And like I said, we're set to pass that this month.
That's excellent news, and kudos to Billy Joe Thompson and her staff and the board of the Recycling Center for the work that they do on a day-to-day basis, as well as the community of Thompson, the residents of Thompson, in buying into recycling. It's really important. We now own and operate the landfill, and the more that we can defer or send to recycling en masse, the bigger impact it is on the lifespan of the landfill. So kudos to the community of Thompson and the residents, and also to Billy Joe and her staff and the board.
Moving on to some events, we've now gotten into one of the busiest seasons here in Thompson, and it is not necessary, and it's not Christmas, it is hockey tournament season. The Don McLean Memorial Hockey Tournament is taking place this weekend.
Absolutely, a great tournament for Bantam kids, and it's been a long-standing tournament honoring the former mayor, Don McLean. There is an addition this year for the double A's. They're adding the Dylan Cripps trophy, and the double A's will compete for that. It starts at 3 p.m. on Friday at the TRCC, and I encourage everyone to come out and see some great hockey from the kids. These are the pre-AAA midgets. These are where the kids come from, and so it'd be nice to see everybody come out and support them for the weekend.
Could it possible to get the latest update on snow removal? I know this is on top of mind of a lot of citizens at this time of year.
Sure, we're at the end of completing the complete city. We're in the Burntwood area, I believe now, and then continuing. I believe the RCMP parking lot will get done shortly. So it's taken us about 7 days doing double shifts from 5 a.m. to 1 a.m. Doing snow removal. I want to thank the residents of Thompson for their patience. I know that it can be trying at times, but again, realize that we got 3 separate snowfalls over 6 days, and so really want to congratulate our staff for doing the work they do, and thank you for the residents for being patient.
The next question I have for you is, what's the status of the outdoor rinks?
Last time I checked, they're completely flooded. I assume they're open. I'll have to check with the rec department. You can phone 204-677-7952, but I know there's ice on the rinks, and whether or not they're open or not, please phone the rec center.
Then I believe we have a question coming in just a minute. Could you talk about the Winter Games for a bit?
Sure. We had a great second host tour last weekend. The hosts from Sport Manitoba and the sport governing bodies were in Thompson for the weekend. Kudos to Sandra Ross Hitch and Murray Kissick as the co-chairs, and all the volunteers involved in the organizing the games. Everybody was really impressed with where we are now. We are actually caught up in the planning process. We had a compressed window because of the late announcement from moving from Virden to Thompson. And so everybody's been working really hard in the background, and we're up to speed from that perspective. We'll have another meeting in January in regards to closing the loops in regards to the final preparation for the games, which is March 2nd to the 11th here in Thompson. We look forward to that. And again, just reiterating, volunteering is an electronic process this year, this games, and you can go to the Thompson website, the City of Thompson website, thompson.ca, and click on the links to the Manitoba Games. There's an electronic registration process. Please go online and register. We're about halfway there in regards to the amount of volunteers we need, and Thompson traditionally waits to the last minute. Because there are additional paperworks, criminal record checks, and child abuse registries to go through, that it takes extra time. So please register early so we can get this done and we can be well prepared for the games.
There is one question we got, and it was wondering if there's going to be any ambulance service cuts coming from the provincial government. I know there's been a lot of shakeups with the health regions down south, and we're still waiting to see if there's going to be anything up here in the north.
Not to my knowledge. We run a dual service in the City of Thompson, fire paramedic service. I know that recently there were some newspaper stories in Winnipeg in regards to paramedics, and provincially in regards to moving ambulance services to central locations to be more efficient. But from our perspective in the City of Thompson, fire paramedics are fully engaged, and at this point I don't see any change in that.
And finally, wrapping up, it is now the Christmas and holiday party season.
Absolutely. A couple things. Reminder not to drink and drive. Christmas holiday season, as you mentioned, is here. Operation Red Nose is out every weekend. You can phone 204-778-8111 to phone for a ride. I know I've volunteered there in the past. It's a great organization, serves a great purpose, and please call a friend, call Operation Red Nose, but do not drink and drive. And lastly, just on the safety aspect, people may be aware, may not be aware, we had a fire this morning on a residential home. No injuries that I can report at this time, but it just reminds us that we are in the Christmas seasons. We don't know the cause, but this time of year there are a lot of wood-burning stoves. There's real Christmas trees with lights and extension cords. So make sure that everything's in safe working order, that your chimneys have been cleaned, that your wood stoves are monitored, that the electrical cords are in good shape, because we don't want to see any incidents during the Christmas holiday season.
Thank you so much for joining me this morning, Mayor Fenske.
Thank you.
If you have any questions you'd like answered next week, email them in advance to CHTMnews@arcticradio.ca. For City Beat here on 102.9 CHTM, I'm Stuart Walter.